Hi everybody, we've been making a lot of finger puppets lately and I want to share with you this Irish princess finger puppet. At least that's what I feel like she looks like. So what we're going to need for this project are some finger puppet bases, and I'm just showing you some of the accessories that I have that I'm going to use, and then some felt. We're using two kinds of green, a black and this black wool yarn for her hair. So the first thing I'm going to do is pull some length of yarn, and I'm going to try to measure it so that it's as long as the whole finger puppet base. So I'm just loosely wrapping it around my fingers so that I can get the length that I want, and then I can just trim it off. And then I'm going to make sure that the rounded part is towards the front of the puppet head. It's real natural wood, and so I just want to make sure that I've got the part that I want facing the front. And then I'm just going to start gluing the hair in place. I'm starting with the hair parted in the middle, and then I'm going to add another layer of hair underneath that, and then I can also add some hair to the back. She's going to have a little headband or a scarf, and so you don't need quite as much hair on the back since you're going to be gluing down a little headband. And I tend to get a little bit excessive and just keep adding more and more and more hair, but you don't have to add quite as much as I added. And I kind of fuss with the hair a little bit. I get a little bit of glue towards the front of her face, and I just use a smaller pair of pointy scissors to trim that out and just to cut that part out. And I just need to get some more yarn. So again, I'm going to wrap it around my fingers so that it's roughly the same length as the other hair. And it's just a quick and easy way in order to get lengths of hair. And then I'm just going to work on the back. So for the two sides of the hair, I had it parted down the middle so that the hair can go on either side. And then for the back, I'm just going to do layers that are, I guess, maybe perpendicular to the hair on the side. And again, I'm going to do about 2 or 3 layers of hair, and so she's going to end up with a really thick head of hair when it's all done. So I'm really sorry that I'm a little bit off camera. I thought that I would do this video with it a little bit more close up because I felt like the last ones that I did with Little Red Riding Hood were a little bit far for you to see, but unfortunately I wasn't paying close attention. I kept veering off to the right side, so I am really sorry about that. So I just used the remnant pieces to give her some bangs, and I just find it a little bit easier to add a little hood or a little hat when there are some bangs in the front. And so I'm going to take this beautiful green felt. My daughter chose everything for this finger puppet because when I made her Little Red Riding Hood, it did not turn out the way she wanted, and she asked that I make her one exactly how she wanted. And so this one has like a darker green, like a scarf or a headband. And I had run out of glue there, so I had to grab another glue stick, and then I needed to retrim her hat so that it was nice and straight because the front part was not. So at this point I'm going to pull about 4 or 5 strands of hair on either side of her so that some hair is to the front and the rest of the hair is to the back. Then I'm going to wrap her bandana underneath all of her hair and use some glue at the base of the finger puppet so that it's directly onto the wooden mold. And then once that all cools and hardens in place, then I can just glue down the headband. You don't really need to, but I feel like it looks a little bit nicer when the headband is glued down to her hair. So I wait till everything is totally in place before I give her another quick haircut. And sometimes my daughter likes to cut the hair, and so I will give the finger puppet really long hair, like maybe 12 inches long, and then she will have fun giving the finger puppet a few haircuts before it gets to be really short. So I'm going to give her a really simple dress in black, and then we're going to add a cape in a lighter green. Usually I try to make the headbands and the capes match, and then the dress is just a different color, but you could do this any way you'd like. It's a great opportunity to get creative with color and styles. The only thing is that these finger puppet molds don't have arms or legs, and so you're a little bit limited in, I guess, clothing designs, and so all of them kind of follow the same pattern of having multiple layers. So I'm just going to slightly round out the corners on the base of this one, not too much, and then I'm going to work on her cloak. And then I had a few accessories picked out for her, but I did not measure them correctly, and so we are going to end up with a little bit of a challenge at the end, not knowing quite what to do with the little keys that my daughter wanted for this finger puppet. We have another finger puppet that has a little pocket inside her cape and then a little key inside that. You can find little accessories like this at craft stores or even in the scrapbooking department of Joann's or Michael's. And I must have run out of these tiny little keys, but I had some little keys and little accessories that must have come maybe on a fossil wallet or a fossil necklace, because it was just the right size for a finger puppet, and I just held on to those things so that I could use them either in scrapbooking or in making my finger puppets. So here's where I decide to use the little metal accents that I normally use for buttons to line her whole bandana. And once this was all in place and with all the green, I really felt she seemed like an Irish princess to me of, the Middle Ages or something. I am just making that up, so if I've offended Irish princesses, I apologize, but to me, she just kind of seemed to look like that. And my daughter really, really likes this one. I don't typically do green on a finger puppet girl that's not going to be outdoorsy and woodsy, and so I really liked playing around with this one. So here are the little charms that I've got. That I have this piece of leather that was from, I think, probably a bracelet, and it broke, but again, I just kept it and figured that I'd find a use for it. So I am gluing the two pieces together. I'm sorry, this is totally off camera, but I've wrapped a small piece of that remnant piece of leather around the piece, hoping that it will kind of keep it in place a little bit better. And I meant to put it around her head. Like before I got her hair and her bandana on, it fit around the head. But once I got everything on, I realized that it wasn't going to fit. So I asked, that's my daughter in there, I asked her if I could maybe just glue it in place, and she really wanted a removable element for this finger puppet. She wanted the keys to be able to come off, and I couldn't figure out a way to have her get them on and off without just having them completely get lost or add a pocket. But because this was a set of keys, it's a key and a heart and another charm, I didn't think that it would work to put it in a pocket. The pocket would just have to be too big. And in trying to get it on her, it breaks off. And so I'm like, well, I think this will have to be it for this finger puppet. And here she is, all finished, and I just use those charms for another finger puppet, and you can get a glimpse of her here on the right side with the black hat. So if you want to see some more tutorials on making finger puppets, you can click here for that playlist. And if you want to check out one of my older videos on how to make Roman armor, you can click here for that tutorial. And you can always check out my website for more pictures at pepperandpine.com. Okay guys, thanks for watching.